Just to preface before I start, the majority of this video will only talk about the main appearances of the White Room in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and only the beginning parts of Chapter 3. Anything else will not be explained in this video, and anything extra that is said about the room will be explained near the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Let's begin. Stella Sora is a gacha game which recently came out this year, 2025. It is a game bursting with personality, popularity, and a lot of controversy in its first beginning weeks. I came into this game because I really like the visuals, the character designs, and so much more. However, one main lacking design of the game is its story. I didn't like it that much. I found it basic, I found it bland, but talking more about that will be for another day. What I'm talking about is something which I didn't even know existed. The concept of a white room. I saw a few posts here and there in the achievement list that somehow, somewhere, there are ways to get endings in this game. How do we get these endings? Well, throughout the story, you, the protagonist called a tyrant, will be able to make three choices. They can either be institution, and analytical, or chaotic. And each of these choices could, most of the time they don't really matter, they're just for personality flair. But sometimes, these choices will lead to different branches, or also an ending, which I found actually pretty cool. So, looking back again at these earlier stories, and choosing choices which I would never choose because they were dumber in the first place, I found out that these endings do exist, and where you end up is this place called the White Room. And after reading through the dialogue and the choices here, I'll be honest, I love it. Actually, I love it actually. The concept of the White Room amazed me. Like, I think this is one of the best parts of not just the story, but Stella Sora in general. So I guess I'm just here gushing over my opinions and my thoughts on the White Room. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I can really talk about it, but I do want to say, before we get into it, what do I think the White Room is? Now, like I said in the preface, I'm only talking about Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and I only know a bit of Chapter 3 and so on and so forth. But generally, before even getting to those Chapter 3, Chapter 4 bits, my thought of the White Room is this metaphysical space. It's a space you can't really teleport into, can't really get into. It's a place that just appears when you mess up or you just choose a wrong choice. Like, seriously, how do you think that stowing away in some boxes would be a correct choice? It was silly, but I do like how it's just random how you get in there. It's pretty neat. But either way, thing I wanted to talk about is the bad endings themselves. And there's only two in the first two chapters, and both of them, like, how do you even get into the White Room from those bad endings, is pretty neat. I want to first preface that I won't really fully explain the story points here and there. I only do like generally just basic points. Like, for example, Chapter 1's first bad ending, A Future Without Trekkers, is basically when you make a choice where you don't think at all. You make a choice thinking that, wow, this company is exploiting us. Should we try to maybe figure out what's going on, how they're doing this, why we do those wishes? They make us feel tired, bored out, and can't do anything else the rest of the day. You have a choice between actually looking into this, eating out, or it's not our problem. Choosing this not your problem leads to the ending, A Future Without Trekkers. What I like about this ending is it feels like a monologue actually. A years-long monologue of the tyrant explaining what goes on. And what the tyrant explains is that generally life went on. Even though you kept working for the company, helping out the Ashwin clan, figure out to get rid of the debt, it really didn't matter at the end. The credit holdings company went under and disappeared out of nowhere. We still lost Lofty, the vehicle we went into the company in the first place for. And so, with no vehicle and basically no money because we've spent the last few months working for that company, the main cast are forced to move out, work odd jobs, and giving up their dreams as trekkers. I think it's pretty sad. Like, the whole story or whole presentation of the game is all about feeling that sense of freedom, exploring the world, exploring the monoliths. So having an ending where we just gotta give up on that dream and just go on, become normal working civilians, It is kind of sad, and also is more sad when, well, even with all these odd jobs the main cast starts working, these don't work out. Each one of our main protagonists, they start out doing well at their jobs, but it just doesn't go well. Iris loses her job, Noya also loses her job, Amber loses her job. It's all just pretty sad. Even ourselves thinking we were making good money somewhere else, it really didn't matter. We start to drift away as friends, and sooner or later we get pushed off a bridge, sort of drown, then end up in the White Room. It's never explained to us how we ended up there, but we does feel that, man, maybe we should have chose a different choice. And that's what I really like about that ending. And the other ending I want to talk about is the eternity ending. You know, the ending where we all decide to think that stowing away in boxes is the smartest plan ever. It was not. And so, thinking we were geniuses of our craft, we ended up getting stuck in a monolith with no way of getting out and being lost in there forever. Yet again, the same type of ending plays. Years go by, months go by, we're stuck in there, we start losing our sense of self, and then the tyrant starts forgetting the faces of their friends that they met along the way, and then ends up as another employee of the monolith. They're just like a day mover, just sending packages here and there. It's that same sense of sadness that there's supposed to be a major plan for this character, and there's a reason why they forgot all their memories to not become an aspect, wherever that may be. But the sad thing is that they ended up stuck in a monolith, losing their sense of self, become nothing more than a drone, and then somehow, some way, they ended up in that White Room. What I like about the White Room in general is it's not really explained. In these first two bad endings, it explained how wrong choices led us to go on years and years of nothing, of joining on, forgetting our main dreams, forgetting the reason for our sense of selves, and then we ended up in this White Room. Another cool thing about it is the characters we see in there. Hopefully I pronounced their names right, but it's from the two demons of the monolith. Bernina, the one with the pink hair, and Vegeta, the one with the white hair. You can tell these characters are actually rather popular. I do think it's pretty cool how, sorry for a tangent. I do think it's really cool how these characters of the monolith they're connected but split in some way. Well, of course, I would say the angel of the monolith and the shopkeeper of the monolith, both of them, they both have jobs. One of them is a healer. We know that. Their whole point is making sure trekkers don't die in the monolith. And then the other, Portia, she's just a shopkeeper. She's the one you buy all your potentials, your harmony scales from. They're all neat. But Bernina and Virginia, they don't make sense. They don't really have jobs. They don't heal people. They don't help people. I guess they do help when you gamble, but generally they don't really do a lot for the monolith. So you start to explain, why are they there? So seeing them in the White Room, having them explain to you, makes them have a bigger sense of connectedness to not just the tyrant old life, but to the monolith itself. It's pretty interesting. That's what I really like about the White Room, is just it gives you hints on a grander story that they have planned out. And as the main story was kind of boring, kind of stale, these endings gives you a bit more information on not just characters, not just yourself, but in general. Both of the two devils of the monolith, these guys were so random, but then in here it feels like they're something more. Are they connected to the tyrant? Are they servants of the tyrants? Do they truly? It seems like they know what the tyrant was, their whole deal was. That's why they're at the White Room. They tell us to remember, which we just don't know. I don't know. That's just the thing. It's a little bit of information they give you, but not fully. That's interesting. It truly evolves not just the endings themselves, because you get little pieces of information here and there that probably wouldn't be explained years later, but also bits of piece of information about yourself. And of course, another thing that I really like is just the music. Now, I'm not a musical master or a theorist who can understand the beats and places here and there and how everything comes together, but I don't know. Just listening about it, it just feels, it's somber. That's all I can say. It feels super somber. It's a sense of I messed up. It's a sense of I know why I'm here. I feel like when the tyrant gets into the White Room, they remember not just themselves, but their past selves. That's what I got from the Future Without Trekkers ending, where the tyrant starts to remember, yeah, I know what happened, I know why I messed up. I'm so sorry to the sage. It's weird. It's really weird, but I do really like it. The music is like a sense of sadness, but a sense of like, I know I messed up. I have to do so much more. I have to make up to everybody. And it works so well because the tyrant never really remembers the White Room. They only remember it when they make it back inside. And the endings only happen when, let's say, a sad scene happens, like a sad event, when you forget about everything, when you give up on your dreams. So the music, like a simple hum, a simple hymn, as the devils of the monolith talk to you, they know so much more, but they can't explain anything. As you, the tyrant, starts picking up bits and pieces as you remember everything. I don't know. I do also like how it is just one big door. It's a room of pure white, one huge door. You step through the door, you're back at that choice. It's all interesting. And in general, I do hope that more of these bad endings in the future are stuff like that. They remain interesting, but also secretive. They give out some hints here and there that helps provide theories. They help provide who the tyrant is so that people can figure it out before the story just spells it out for you. And also provide more character detail. Maybe explain more about what these devils, what they really are, and who they really are. So yeah, I think that's what I want to talk about the White Room. I just really like it. I like the music, I like everything, I like the concept. It's pretty beautiful. Like, I'm not gonna cry when I'm just hearing about it, but I don't know. It seems like gacha games should have these type of moments where things start slowing down immensely, where it's just reflection. But sadly, it all went away in the beginning of chapter 3. Because after getting Vita, the voice in our phone, we figured out that the White Room is a place that we can travel to, which immediately screws up my whole theory about this being a whole fake-ish place that you can't really get in and out from, which is pretty weird. Why is this room traversable? Why can't we just get in here with a touch of our piece, our chest piece? And it's so weird how we have to keep it secretive, and that we can't even explain what the White Room is, but it doesn't really help because we can just go in and out of the room whenever. The tyrant just now knows about the concept of the White Room when there should have been a secret until they made it there instead. So it kind of ruins the entire point of the White Room being a place where you get into after the bad endings, and it just loses a sense of secrecy it had. That's just my opinion. Okay. I'm recording this after I already made the whole video. I'm already at the end, so I'll just add this here. I messed up reading that first chapter, that interlude for chapter 3. What Vita says was that we came into the White Room, which is a replica of the actual one. So the one that when we touched the chess piece, it's not the actual White Room. That's a mess up on my part, but I think it still loosens the great effect the White Room has, as it's just this place that no one should know, not even the tyrant really should know, and they only get to remember it when they get through the bad endings and they get teleported in there. But now I do learn now that the White Room that we can get into from the chess piece is not the real one, so it shouldn't really hold the same deal as the actual White Room. Either way, I think explaining it into the main story at this current moment is still losing its sense of secrecy, and it doesn't matter. Just want to say my mistake there. Sorry about that. And going a bit further into chapter 3 and 4, the bad endings there, I'm not going to talk about it fully, but they're less neat compared to the ones in chapter 1 and 2. It feels like they couldn't really keep it a secret any longer, so those endings there felt a bit more harsh, a bit more forced, instead of just a slow, monarchical mess up that the tyrant has done. It just turns to the tyrant was stupid and everything blows up in their face, and that's how they end up there. It kind of ruins it a bit, but I'm just one person on the internet. Overall though, I just like the White Room. This concept, the music, the characters are in it. the sense of somberness it gives, how it basically reflects on you, the player, and how it just tells you, get back out there and make the right choice this time. Even if nothing ever matters, even if when the White Room is fully explained here and there, I think how I thought about it back in chapter 1 and chapter 2, I think I love it back then. Well, who knows? Everyone has their own decision about how they feel about the White Room, but also about the story in general. So I asked people this, maybe out there, whoever there in the world, I want to just know other people's decision on these bad endings in the White Rooms. Like how do they feel about it? How do they think reflect on the story in general? I don't know. I will make another Stella Sora video in the future. I want to make a more controversial one. But right now, I just want to talk about this one concept that I really like. Well, I guess that's really it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you are watching. And maybe I'll see you next time. Goodbye.